Spurgeon here with RevZilla to talk to you today about the Spidi Race Warrior Pro Perforated Race Suit available at RevZilla.com. Say that 10 times fast. Spidi Race Warrior Pro Perforated Race Suit. Now, if you're looking at Spidi's naming conventions, you're looking at the race suits and you're trying to figure out where exactly this fits in, you might be a bit confused. I am too, and I own two Spidi race suits, and that's because their naming convention can seem a bit confusing. And also, so can their feature set. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna break this down and we're gonna compare it to two other race suits within Spidi's line that you might also be considering. One is gonna be the Pilati, and then you might also consider bumping up to something like the TrackWind Pro. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk first and foremost about fit, because whenever you're looking at a race suit, getting the fit down first is gonna be your #1 priority. And one of the things about Spidi is that their race suits don't necessarily fit the same throughout, but one of the things that I really like about Spidi is that if you're like myself, you're a bit of a bigger build, you've got larger thighs, you're a bit taller, Spidi is gonna have quite a few options that are gonna work for you. And the Race Warrior Pro Perforated is going to be one of them. So let's start off with Juice. Juice stands at 5'10". He has a 42-inch chest. He's lost some weight. Good job, buddy. He is down to 190 from 195, and we have him in a size 52. He used the size chart. It fits perfectly. So when we're talking about Juice, he wears a 52 in the Spidi jacket as well as the Spidi race suit. For myself, I have to size up one full size. So I have a Spidi jacket that I am a 54 in. For my race suit, I do size up to a 56. It's not for my upper body, it's more for my larger thighs. So if you know that you have larger, meatier, manly thighs, you are gonna wanna consider sizing one size up than what is recommended based on the size chart. Just keep that in mind, and it still fits perfectly throughout. There's a lot of stretch material in here. One of the reasons that I enjoy Spidi is because it does work for the larger build. Now, sizes will range from a 46 up to a 58. And when we're talking about fitment for this one, it's a bit more of that relaxed fit from Spidi. Now, it's still aggressive in its nature, but it's not super aggressive. So if you're looking at this for around the $1,200 price point, you're probably also looking at the Pilati. Now, the Pilati is very aggressive. If you are slim, skinny, tiny, much more like you would be if you were looking at a Dainese race suit, that's where the Pilati comes in. This is something that's much more online and on track with something that's going to fit like my TrackWind Pro. It's a bit more roomier in the thighs. You have a little bit more room from the shoulders down to the crotch. If you've ever had a problem where it really cuts you down in the crotch area, this gives you a little bit more room for folks that have a longer torso. So if you are considering this against the Pilati, keep that in mind. If you are extremely skinny, that is where you'd move over to the Pilati. If you have a bit more meat on your bones like Juice does, he does spend some time at the gym, he's worked out the upper body, he's got a little bit more meat in his thighs, this is where you would consider the Race Warrior Pro. And again, for myself, I have much larger thighs, that's where I'd bump up one size based on what's recommended from the size chart when I'm looking at a Spidi race suit. For Juice, because he is a little bit slimmer down low, he is able to continue that same setup. So where you're going to look at this from a feature set. Again, this is coming in around that $1,200 price point, same price as the Pilati, a little bit below the TrackWind Pro. That's where it gets a little bit confusing because I feel like Spidi is really mixing and matching their set with this. So the construction throughout is going to be a 1.2 to 1.4 millimeter cowhide, and that's going to be pretty much the same across the board. You are getting CE-rated armor at the elbows, at the shoulders, as well as the knees. But what you're going to see with this one is you now have Warrior armor on the exterior, and that is going to be an upgrade over both the Pilati as well as the more expensive TrackWind Pro. You're also, give me a little bit of an elbow here, Juice, you're also going to have the Velcro attachment here if you want to add the Warrior armor to the shoulders on this, or to the elbows rather. That is going to be something that's already included in the Pilati. So when we're looking at the Pilati, you don't have the Warrior on the shoulder, but you do have it on the elbow. You have the availability to add it to the elbow to this suit, and when you bump up to the TrackWind, you have no external armor. So again, it gets a bit confusing. It really depends on what you're looking for. For me personally, I'm not too worried about the exterior armor on this. I'm not laying my elbow on the ground when I'm at the racetrack. I'm just not up to that speed. Very few people are. But if that's a priority for you, you can add it to this particular piece. Now, as we work our way down, this is a perforated suit, so you are going to notice perforation down the chest panels. If you are riding in the warmer months of the year, this just helps to promote airflow throughout the actual suit. You're also going to notice a massive amount of stretch, and this is going to be that Flex 10X material proprietary material from Spidi, really helps with a great range of motion, and it doesn't give you that extra look of the accordion stretch that we're going to see at the back of the arms when we flip this around. So a bit of extra stretch working its way down the arms, and then when we get to the cuff on Juice's hands, it is going to be a suede cuff to this with a zip entry and then just a Velcro closure over top of the zipper. Now, as we work our way through, one of the things to note, the inside liner on this is probably my biggest nitpick across the board from Spidi. I have an older Spidi race suit that has a non-removable interior, and I love it. It's a race suit. I'm not pulling the interior out to wash it. If it smells a little bit funky, I'm just going to wear it or Febreze the hell out of it. So for those of you that are concerned about how your race suit smells and you want to pull out that liner, this does have the option to do so, but my nitpick is this. The problem that I have with the removable interiors from Spidi is they tend to get bunched up when you're wearing them. For example, on this one, the inside mesh only goes down to just below the knee, and getting it in and out was absolutely a bear. Now, once you get it on, it's fine, but if you're one of those people that likes to, take the race suit off completely in between sessions or while you're having lunch, it's going to be a bit cumbersome to do so. So I would definitely recommend just go ahead and just take the suit halfway down. Don't take the legs out. Otherwise, getting it on and off, especially if you start to sweat and it gets a bit warmer, is going to be a pain in the butt, even if you are wearing base layers. So Juice, what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and face sideways for me and just strike the riding position. So one of the things you'll note with this is that the accordion stretch does not give you as much range of motion as you would get if you bumped up to the track wind. The track wind has much more accordion stretch running down the side, a little bit better range of motion. That's some of the creature sets you are getting, from a comfort standpoint by bumping up to the track wind, more of that technicality. The other thing you'll see here is there's many more logos on this. So the Spidi logo is going to be done much more than you would see on something like the Pilati. That aggressive, thin, skinny track look is also going to be for riders out there that are racing that want to add a bunch of their own patches and their own logos. And then with this, Spidi stepped away from that and they put a lot more of their logos back on here. You're going to see this Spidi logo working through the accordion stretch, and that accordion stretch is perforated, and then that Spidi logo is going to work its way all the way down the side of the leg as well. Juice, go ahead and face backwards for me. Now, when we take a look at the back of this, you are going to have a bit of neoprene at the back of the collar. So if you are in that race tuck, it's going to give you that range of motion, that comfort. You are going to have the availability to add a hydration pack to this. Now, the one thing with the Speed Hump, the hydration pack is not going to be as sophisticated as what you would see with the TrackWind Pro. You're going to have dual zippers down either side, and you would just run the tube out of there. When you bump to the TrackWind Pro, you have a much more discreet zippered entry, and you have a cutaway where the tube would actually come out in a separate pouch from the hydration pack. So again, that's where you're seeing those little tweaks to sophistication by bumping up to the TrackWind. But between those two, the fit's going to be the same. So they begin to blend those lines a little bit more like we talked about. Now, as we work our way down to the yoke, Juice, just go ahead and strike the riding position for me. Just kind of stretch the yoke out a little bit. Perfect. You're going to see the Spidi working its way across. That accordion stretch is going to work across the yoke and then down to the side of the hip. Like I said, with the TrackWind Pro, you're going to get much more of that stretch or that accordion as it works throughout. You can go ahead and stand up in the straight position, bud. Now, with this, there is no back protector included. You can go ahead and you can use the standalone Warrior back protector. Like I said, you're already getting the elbow, shoulder, and knee, but you would want to make sure you add a back protector to the suit. And if you're out there, you can use pretty much any standalone back protector with this, and it'll work out just fine. Or you can use the Spidi Warrior, and again, it'll suit you just right. Now, what you will notice as we work our way down the entire back, full leather throughout the seat, a little bit of extra padding in the Cossacks area. And then as you work your way down the back, one of the things that I really like about this is you have Flex 10X all the way down the back of the calves. Now, if you're like myself and you do have those larger meaty legs, this is where Spidi really wins, because the zip up works really well with that Flex 10X material. It gives you this stretch, so you get a really nice articulated fit as it works into your race boot, but it's not going to feel like it's binding up on you. It's not going to be too small. It's not going to be too tight. That Flex 10X material is really the win that works for those of you out there with larger legs to make this suit work. Juice, go ahead and face forward for me. So the one thing we're going to do is we're just going to work down the front of this now. You're going to see that Flex 10X material work its way down the crotch into the inside of the leg, and then the leather takes over. The other thing you'll note, you have the accordion stretch at the top of the knee, but you'll also notice where your knee sliders are on this, that you're also going to now have those fine points of adjustment. So if you look around the actual outline where the Velcro is, you're going to see little notches so you can fine tune exactly where you put your knee armor, and when you replace it, you know exactly where you took it off. So it's a nice addition for those of you out there that are wearing down your knee sliders more often than others, and you're constantly replacing them. You know exactly where to place them, and that is going to be an additional bump over some of the other track suits that we're seeing from Spidi. So they are incorporating that in this particular Race Warrior Pro perforated race suit. Again, say it 10 times fast. So within Spidi's line, this is going to be a great middle of the road option that's actually starting to now incorporate some of the advancements that we're seeing from higher level suits. Like I said, the fact that we're having the Warrior armor exteriorly integrated into the shoulders. You do have the Velcro on the side of the elbows that you can add the Warrior armor to. You're seeing some of those more expensive touches added to more of their middle of the line suit. Again, around the $1,200 price point, this is smack dab in the middle for what you'd expect from Spidi. And the fit, for those of you out there that are a bit bigger, that are a bit longer in the torso, maybe some meatier thighs, this is definitely an option for you to consider, especially if you're looking at this versus the Pilati. The Pilati, much more of that skinny, aggressive fit. This is going to be much more generous while still giving you the race-oriented touches that you're going to want from a race suit. Now, if you want to hear more about what other riders have to say about the Spidi suits that they're currently using, now would be the time to click the info button on your desktop or mobile device, which will allow you to read other rider reviews from folks that are already out there putting a Spidi tracksuit through its paces. If you're still confused as to what suit is going to be right for you and your riding style, now would be the time to give one of our Gear Geeks a call and have them walk you through the process. You can always give them a shout at 877-792-9455 or simply shoot over an email to cs@RevZilla.com. Now I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the Spidi Race Warrior Pro Perforated Race Suit. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.